For those of you who may or may not be familiar, Cuphead is a very, very popular video game. It's created by two brothers who are out of Canada. It's actually produced by Studio MDHR. And it is a very interesting video game because it is like a Fleischer Studio style animated cartoon as a video game. It's interesting because to me, for those of us that are older fans and older video game players such as myself, when I think of animated like cartoon video game, I think of was it shoot, why can't I remember
Dragon
the name of it?
Slayer?
Dragon Slayer. Thank you. Dragon Slayer. Or I think of Space Ace, like that kind of stuff. And those kind of video games have been kind of here and there, but nothing quite on the level of Cuphead. And nothing really in the style of Cuphead. It's a style that almost been abandoned, but still has a lot of people who love that look and that style. So the original Cuphead game came out, was extremely successful. That now has a Netflix show, which is actually quite good. I've actually watched quite a few episodes of Cuphead, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very, very fun animated show. Well, I haven't been able to talk about it for a long time. We kind of talked about it, I think, briefly on one episode, and I talked in hints and whispers and stuff because I was under an NDA and not allowed to talk. However, I have gotten approval from Maja Moldenhauer, who was my boss, and she has given me clearance to actually talk about it now for the first time. So I did actually get the opportunity to work on Cuphead DLC, which is Delicious Last Course, which is the new version of Cuphead that's going to be coming out later this year. We do have the announcement trailer here. I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to kind of let this run kind of while we maybe talk over it a little bit. I'm leery about having the sound on. Like, we should be okay to talk about it because this is the one posted on the studio site. So we're going to let it play, but we're going to talk over it. So Cuphead is just a very, very interesting video game, as you see here. It's done in a 1940s kind of style. And this is the announcement trailer. We're going to get into the gameplay here in a second. But one of the things that was really neat for me, a lot of you know that I am a comic book inker. That's what I've spent a lot of my career doing. I became an inker actually because I wanted to be a penciler, and Scott Clark, who I worked with for a long time, Scott actually talked me into actually being an inker. And I decided, that sounds like a good thing. So I decided to explore that option. And Scott and I worked on a lot of great projects together. And then I've gone on to do a lot of inking work with other people. Like I got to work with Marat Michaels. I got to work with Daniel Semper, like a lot of different comic artists, and do a lot of fun things, a lot of independent projects. It's been a lot of fun. This is the first time I have worked as an inker on a video game. And it was a really, really fun experience. And I really, really enjoyed it. All the crew working on Cuphead are very, very passionate about video games, and they love their characters and the universe that they have created with Cuphead. And it's just was really fun and exciting for me to get to be a part of this. So yeah, there you go. I actually inked on Cuphead, and it's kind of fun to finally be able to actually talk about it. I cannot talk any further beyond that because they did say that I can't talk about the new characters that were worked on or anything like that. So I can't talk to you about the characters, but I can say it was a lot of fun, and I'm very happy and thrilled with the work that I got to do on Cuphead.
Yeah, this is something that I've known about for a while, but we haven't been able to talk about, and I'm super excited about it because this is something that like my kids are really into. They like the game. I think it has like a huge brand recognition, especially with younger people. I don't know as much, with the older crowd, but I think with younger people, they're very aware of this game, and it was very popular. So I'm super excited for you. Mats is out there saying it looks like fun. Maria says she loves it. And Hollywood says puppets, that was kind of cool on the trailer there. By the way, I hadn't seen the trailer myself before, so very clever and very well done, I think. And Gap is also out there saying it's nice. And yeah, I'm really proud of you. And now that we can talk about it, I'm going to throw it out there. I think you should talk to the studio, the creators, about maybe you having an appearance at Game On Expo and represent. You know what I mean, for Cuphead, because maybe they can set you up with some promotional stuff or something like that. And I think that'd be really cool, because I know that's an event. I don't think you've never attended Game On Expo, and this
I've
would be a
never done it.
great in, for you
Right.
to get out there, especially now that you've worked on this. So something to throw out there, something to think about. If any of you other folks, know about Game On Expo or know some of the people involved or whatever, I'm definitely going to be using whatever influence I can use to see if I can make this happen, because I think that'd be really good. That'd be really awesome if you could do that.
It would be a lot of fun. And then, like I said, once the game actually comes out, I can actually share, some of the artwork and talk in more specifics about some of the characters and the sequences I got to work on. The caliber of the talent that was brought onto this game was incredible. And it was just amazing to actually see kind of behind the scenes how they put all this stuff together. I still don't exactly understand exactly how all of it works, to be completely honest. But it was just incredibly intriguing. And I remember having those when I was talking with them actually about getting to work on this. Um, it was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. And just a real thrill for me. I grew up loving things like Popeye and the Superman, the old original Superman Max Fleischer cartoons. I loved all that stuff, Betty Boop, the whole thing. And my mom, I don't know if some people may know this, but my mom was my inspiration for drawing, and my mom wanted to be a Disney animator. So this felt like an interesting full circle kind of journey actually for me. And it was interesting too, because I wasn't really set up to do this, because I haven't actually done animation before, but they actually sent out an animation desk with a disc and the whole thing. And they set me up, to actually, like, it was crazy. I'd never worked on, like, the animation paper that's got the pegs, that you lock into place, and like all this stuff and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. And we'll just see what the future holds. We'll see what the future holds. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. That's really, really cool. Hollywood says Popeye the video game. Maria says Mighty Mouse. I think there's a lot of different inspirations that Cuphead draws upon in terms of those classic animated shorts, that they used to have before movies and stuff. It's very much, it's very much influenced by all of that, so it's really neat, that I think that they made a game like this in this style.
And it's influenced by a lot of great video games too. That's the other thing too. A lot of the gameplay and everything is influenced by a lot of great video games. And it was interesting because when I interviewed and I got to actually talk to Chad Moldenhauer, who again was one of my bosses. And what was interesting is when we were having the interview and we were talking, I didn't realize that we were Sega Master System people. Like, that was like one of my earlier video game systems. I'd played other people's game systems, but my personal first game system was the Sega Master System. That was my first one.
Oh, really?
And it was just really interesting because I had not had a lot of video game conversations with people, because normally I'm mostly talking about just like comic book stuff. And so it was really cool to talk animation and talk video games, and the influences and the things that they're pulling from are very interesting. And you can watch some YouTube videos where people break down what they think some of the influences for Cuphead are, and they're looking at things like Street Fighter and Contra and all this other stuff, and it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Asia's in the house, and she says, "I've played the game. It's hecka hard but fun." It is a difficult game. I've played it before as well, and it is not exactly the easiest game in the world.
You like to make sure it's challenging. But yeah, that was one of my big things I wanted to talk about tonight. It's just nice to actually finally be able to talk about it, because I've been sitting on that for a long time, and I just had a wonderful time working on Cuphead, the DLC, and I'm really excited for people to check it out. And then once the game actually comes out, it'd be great because I can show some of the art and we can actually start talking about some of the new characters and some of the things that were actually in the game. It was interesting. Interesting. I'll just put it out there right now. It felt like a little bit of typecasting, but we'll get more into that later.
Asia mentions also that it's a lot like old school shooters like Gunstar Heroes, Alex Kidd, and The Miracle World. For folks that you may not be familiar with the game, it's a lot of fun. It's a cool game, and I am interested to see what's going to happen with the content that you were directly involved with and what they're coming out with, because it'll be interesting.